Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honor to our apostles and elders, great millstone. Peace and blessing to the elect of Israel. Shalom. Ancient pharaohs branded their slaves. And Esau, the so-called white man, these Edomites, in particular these elite banking families, they are the modern day pharaohs, and they're going to do the same thing. They're going to brand their slaves by using that RFID chip to do it. That's how they're going to brand their slaves. And the ancient pharaohs of ancient Egypt, they branded their slaves. So Esau, he's doing the same thing. He's going to do the same thing today in this modern time. Now, I have two sources for this information proving that the ancient pharaohs branded their slaves. My first source is on his website, Quora.com. And there was a question asked, did the ancient Egyptians practice institutionalized slavery? If so, how was it practiced? And what is the non-biblical evidence? And the answer was given by Stephen Tempest, M.A. Modern History, University of Oxford, 1985. Now we're going to read a little bit of this and get to the point. It says, slavery was an established part of life in ancient Egypt. Though historians argue over exactly how widespread it was, the Egyptian word for a slave or servant was him, pronounced him. Though note that him, netter, slave of the god, was an honorable title given to high-ranking priests and found as an element in personal names. It says early records dating from the time of the Old Kingdom mostly refer to slaves in the service of the pharaoh or temples. During the Middle Kingdom, we also start to see frequent references to privately owned slaves as well. The military conquests of Egypt under the New Kingdom brought large numbers of foreign slaves into the country. This is the traditional time of the captivity of the Hebrews in Egypt, which that happened. The Hebrew Israelites were in slavery in ancient Egypt. We all know this. And you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, you are the Hebrew Israelites today. You were in slavery in ancient Egypt, just like you're in slavery in this modern day Egypt, this new Egypt, North America, the United States of America. This is spiritual Egypt. And Esau, he's going to repeat history. He's going to do the same thing that the ancient pharaohs did. Let's get to the point. Keep reading. It says, there is a famous painting from the tomb of Rekhmire, who served as Grand Vizier to two pharaohs in the 15th century BCE, which shows a large group of slaves making bricks, which are Israelites. That's the picture that you see below. The text identifies them as war captives, prisoners of war, captured by the king and set to work building the temple of Amun. And it is believed that they were probably Canaanites or Israelites. They were Israelites. That's who they were. Though, of course, there is no evidence of their religion in the painting. Well, being a Hebrew Israelite is not a religion. It's a nationality. Now it says slaves making bricks from the tomb of Rekhmire, and those are Israelites. Now let's get to the point. Let's get to it. Right here it says, we do not have much surviving information on the legal status of slaves or what rights, if any, they possessed. The Book of the Dead condemns domineering over slaves and vilifying a slave to his master as immoral acts to be avoided, on the same level as telling lies or committing adultery. On the other hand, we have evidence that slaves attempting to run away were to be beaten as punishment. There are also records of them being branded. There are also records of them being branded or perhaps tattooed to mark their status as slaves. Well, guess what? That mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip, It's a badge of ownership. Okay? Recognizing you as a slave. Recognition of ownership. Esau, he's just repeating history. He's just repeating history. All right, we have something else here. My next source. Now this is on rashafim.org. It's talking about slavery in ancient Egypt. And it's pretty much mentioning the same thing. And let's just get to the point of all this. All right. Now where it says war. Where it says war. While there had been slaves in Egypt since the beginning of its history, their numbers greatly increased during the New Kingdom, when the Pharaohs were committed to a policy of foreign involvement in the conquests in Nubia, Canaan, and Syria, brought in many prisoners of war, which were Israelites. You know, it talks about the people of Canaan, the Israelites. We were put in slavery in Egypt, okay, during the New Kingdom. Now it says, let me read that part again. That's some heat. While there had been slaves in Egypt since the beginning of its history, their numbers greatly increased during the New Kingdom, when the Pharaohs were committed to a policy of foreign involvement and conquests in Nubia, Canaan, and Syria, brought in many prisoners of war, secure Ankh, who were enslaved, at times branded with the sign Kai. And it says, I gave to them captains of archers. I gave to them captains of archers and chief men of the tribes, branded and made into slaves, impressed with my name. Their wives and their children were made likewise. Is not Esau going to do the same thing? By you taking that chip, that's Esau putting his name on you. That's Esau saying that you're mine. I'm claiming you. You're my cattle. You're my goyim. You're my slaves. And that's how he looks at you anyway. But him putting that chip in you, that's finalizing it. You being his slave. This is plain as day. This is plain as day right here. That's what Esau wants to do. Let's get some scriptures. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. In North America, Babylon the Great, spiritual Sodom and Egypt. The tribes of Israel are oppressed together. We're all under Esau here in North America. And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Now, what does that remind you of? That reminds you of the Pharaoh when we were in slavery in Egypt. Because what was Moses saying when he was coming before Pharaoh? Let my people go. And Pharaoh refused to let us go. Esau doing the same thing. And he really wants to do it by putting that chip in you. He doesn't want to let you go. He wants you to be a slave forever. You see that? You see the parallel? You know? The Edomites, they're the new Babylonians. They're the new Egyptians. And in particular, the elite, they're the new Pharaohs. They are the new Pharaohs. Let's prove it. You brothers know where I'm going. Romans chapter 9, verse 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native and Seminole Indians, you represent Jacob. These so-called Caucasians, these so-called white people, they represent Esau, Edom. The Lord hates them, but the Lord loves us. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? The Most High forbid. Yeah, because he can love who he wants to love, and he can hate who he wants to hate. He's the Most High. He can do whatever he wants to do. For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of the Most High that showeth mercy. right? Because there's no free will. You do what you were created to do. Verse 17 is the point. For the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, ancient Pharaoh, for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. Therefore hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will, he hardeneth. So the Lord is going to have mercy on Jacob and yet choose Israel. He's going to choose Israel again and have mercy on us, but he's going to harden Esau's heart, just like he hardened Pharaoh's heart. So he's hardening Esau's heart to make Esau bring this new world order and to make Esau microchip people, just to judge Esau for doing it. You see that? So the Edomites, in particular the elite of Esau, they're the new pharaohs of this new Egypt. You understand? And Lord will is making sense. And it's only going to make sense to the elect anyway. Isaiah chapter 31 and verse 1 down to 3. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. So woe to you tribes that trust in this government. Woe to you tribes that worship the image of this beast. You worship this system, all right, which is a pagan Roman Empire all over again. You know, NATO and the EU. You believe in this system. By you participating in this system, that American dream, and stay on horses and trust in chariots, meaning you trust in the power of Esau, because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. You see the power of this government, the power of their military, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh. All right, now let's jump down to verse 3. Now the Egyptians are men and not the Most High. So these Edomites, they are men. They not the Most High. They are only men. And their horses are flesh and not spirit. And their horses flesh and not spirit, meaning their power is carnal. It's not spiritual. So the mark of the beast is not spiritual. It's carnal. It's physical. You see that? So don't trust in the system. When Yahawashi shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall. Let me read that again. Both he that helpeth shall fall. You know, which are the Egyptians helping you tribes. And he that is hoping shall fall down. And they all shall fall together. And they all shall fail together. Right. You know, so you tribes depending on the system. And this system itself is going to fall down. Okay? It's going to fall down. It's going to fail. Don't take that chip because you're going to be a damn slave. As a matter of fact, let me get something else really quick. Isaiah 36 and 6. Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt. You know, so a staff represents their power structure. Their scepter or their power structure, and it's broken because this system is not going to be able to support you. It's not going to help you. On Egypt, which spiritually is America, whereon if a man lean, meaning if a man depend upon to be supported, to be helped, it will go into his hand and pierce it, which is that chip. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. And that modern day Pharaoh is Esau. He wants to chip everybody. He wants to chip every damn body. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5. Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, meaning Esau, he transgressed by his philosophies. Okay? His democracy, his foreign policies. Okay? He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. You see America, they got over 800 military bases everywhere, all around the earth, who enlarge of his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, the new world order, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. That new world order, and that's why he wants everyone microchipped. So I hope you were edified. That's the point. Don't take that chip, because Esau, he's just repeating history. He wants to brand his slaves just like the ancient pharaohs did to their slaves. And there's going to be a judgment for that. Okay, if you take that chip, you're going to be destroyed. Pursuant to Revelation chapter 14, verse 9 down to 11. Don't take the chip. Barakatah Yahawashi Yahawashi Ba'ashem Rakakudash. Double honor to our apostles and elders, great millstone. Peace and bless to the elect. Shalom.